Welcome to She Lancer, Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. I'm your host, Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and this podcast are the audio versions of my live Q&A chats on YouTube. If you'd like to be part of the live Q&A chats, come on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. I'm live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. We talk about voiceover, the business of voiceover, audiobooks, and so much more. Find more information on my website, voiceoverangela.com. Enjoy today's episode.
Hello!
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us today
right.
for our live chat here on the YouTubes.
Yay, YouTube. Love-hate relationship with YouTube, you know.
YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So, we're talking about Fiverr today. We totally skipped the intro. We don't need no stinking intro.
There's an intro? You have an intro? What's the
there
intro?
usually is an intro. Yeah.
What's
Well,
the intro
it's like a 2-minute, hey, everybody come, we're getting started, but nobody wants that
It's
stuff
like a catchy
anymore.
tune?
Yeah, like get
that's
down for a couple minutes,
Down with
But
catchy tune, yeah.
We're
Okay.
skipping it today.
No
We don't need no
worries.
stinking intro.
We
Okay.
got coffee. Now, do you drink coffee when you do yours, Angela?
Yeah.
Of course.
Coffee.
Very nice.
Coffee and water. You gotta
I
have
have
coffee
a
and
new
water.
coffee mug. This one is definitely, I know it's not as, it's not my usual mug. My wife gave it to me. It's very nice, though. Isn't it pretty? It's a pretty mug. I think it was her mug. I think it was her mug that she gave me. But anyway. Oh, hey, I know that Caesar person.
Yeah, we know that Caesar person. For those of you watching on TikTok, come over to YouTube so you can see Anthony. Come over to the YouTubes or Instagram. We're on both.
Good deal.
Anywho, we're talking about Fiverr today, and
Fiverr.
Yeah, Fiverr. So there is a poll. Let's get your votes in. That'll help us to kind of direct what we're talking about today. But the poll for today is...
What does the poll say?
What is your biggest challenge using Fiverr as a voice actor? And if you haven't signed up on Fiverr yet, and if you have questions about... I know. If you have questions about what do I do? What do I, ask them. That's what we're here for. We can both see the comments. So if you have questions, please ask. But look, so far we have 17 votes. Looks like 41% of you, it's shifting. 37% of you said converting clicks to orders. 32% of you said getting seen. 32% of you said pricing my VO services. And none of you said scaling beyond small orders. And I was hoping you guys would click that one. Meaning, what I meant by that is instead of like a $20 order, how do I get the same order to be like $100 for the same word count, right? That's what I mean by that question. And none of you clicked it, so I'm interested.
I specialize in it, yes. All right, where do we want to start the conversation, huh?
I would say because 40% of them said converting clicks to orders. What do you think that is? Or should we start with a little bit of a background on you first?
Let's always start, Angela, with the story.
For those of you watching that don't know who Anthony Pica is, and I'm sure most of you do.
You always need a story. See, you need the story.
You need the story. So
it starts on a night in October. Yes, we need a story.
Anthony and I have been friends for years at this point. He's been my coach. Now I am a coach for him in his academy. He started Fiverr about a year before I did, so I came to him years ago for the secret sauce. So, Anthony, what has been your experience with Fiverr so far? How long ago did you join? Give us a little bit of a tidbit on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So back in the day, so I joined Fiverr back in 2017. Fiverr started back in 2011, 2010, 2011 or so forth.
I think it was 11.
And it's funny. I had joined actually back in 2011, 2012, but as a buyer. And because I was looking at building websites, niche websites, back before I even thought about voiceover. And I had fast forward to 2017, I had basically saw a video on YouTube that you could become an audiobook narrator.
Mm.
And I was like, I could do that. It was on my birthday, and I really wanted to do something with voice, with performance, and I couldn't get out and do acting because I had a job and I had all this stuff. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. And as I started to look around, I found a website called ACX and Fiverr. So, I joined Fiverr, and quickly I put up whatever I thought I could. I did a DIY demo and all that jazz. And back at that time, Fiverr had about 6 to 7,000 gigs on it, just for voiceover. So now there's over 40,000, all right, or so forth, and it's grown ridiculous since then. But at that time, and that's still a lot then, but at that time, there was about 6 or 7,000, and it was quite set up a little differently than it is now. Meaning, you could go from level 0 to top rated seller within there was no time frame. It was all about just how much you sold and did you reach the
Mm-hmm.
requirements of the selling. So I started on there, and I did absolutely no business for the first couple of months. And then I noticed that no one was doing any sort of Halloween type voices. So I had put on, this is where I realized that there was a lot of niche possibilities. So first lesson on Fiverr, right? Don't just expect when you first start off to get commercial work, right? Go for the niche areas like character work and things like that, because there's a lot of opportunities there. I put stuff up for Halloween, and I just knocked it out of the park. So are you putting notes up? What are you
Yes.
what did you put up there?
I was trying to tell people on TikTok to come to YouTube
Oh, yeah,
because they just see me sitting here staring.
What's she doing today? So anyways, so that's so for the first year, I only made about $800 total for the first 12 months on Fiverr. And I into the second year, I really started to get frustrated that all these other people were doing so well and I was not. So I went down this journey, and to study everybody on Fiverr in my area, men my age or a little older, doing, that were selling a lot. And I took a summer. I'm not kidding. I literally laid on my floor in my living room, and I remember I had my laptop, and I just sat there with a notepad and pen, and I literally took notes of the types of voices. And this is what kind of hatched this idea of having a money voice, right? That we had an incredible webinar the other day on. And lo and behold, I came out of that and jumped to $20,000 my next year. And then from that, because it was at the end of the year, then I jumped to over $100,000 my third year in Fiverr. And that's been the trajectory since then. But at that time, you know what I mean? It was very daunting. so yeah, so that's kind of how the story came for me. I struggled early on. It wasn't until I really found what was trending and what was working very well on Fiverr, and I played the game,
Yeah.
that it worked out. So that's kind of like the overall backstory of me. And by the way, in the meantime of all that, while I was doing that, I also there was Fiverr courses way back then of other
Yeah.
people doing stuff, and,
Mm-hmm.
Stuff that didn't go very well. And I had to learn from people getting banned from Fiverr and doing all kinds of things they weren't. Because it used to be, did you know you used to be able to message? So you used to be able to go to other people's profiles. So imagine everybody right now, all the voice actors, imagine going to someone else's profile, and then all the sellers, the buyers, all the reviews, you used to be able to go to them and message them directly. Like, you could go to other people's buyers and message them and say, hey, do you want a better voiceover? They used to, like, that used to not be, and Fiverr had to go and change all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, so that's the story. That's my story. I'm sticking to, a broad story. So yeah, so that's kind of how I got started. So, all right. So let's talk about clicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So something to note. All right. First and foremost, this has not changed in years. All right. So let's look at impressions to clicks. All right. And clicks to jobs. So we know that typically you want to stay into this 2 to 4% range from clicks to impressions. So basically, if you have 1,000 impressions, right, we want to get 20 to 40 clicks. That's what we're expecting. Of course, we want more. If you can get 4 to 6, that's wonderful. But 4% is going to be where you want to live. That's a healthy. That's healthy. You're doing well. Okay. And then if you think about from your clicks to jobs, 20 to 40 clicks should yield you, hopefully, right? 1 to 3 jobs. That's typically where that lies. So if you go into everything that you do in that way, you need to understand, okay, well, I first need to know that I need to get 1,000 impressions and I need to be getting up there. And a lot of us live in this area where we unfortunately only get 100, 80, 150 when we're first starting out. So when you're first starting out, you've got to use whatever tools you have to capture business early on in order to move the algorithm. And this was always so controversial early on, but I think now we've got bigger fish to fry, so it is what it is. But, pricing is a big aspect of getting early on work on Fiverr because that's only one of your marketing tools. The only ways you can move impressions on Fiverr are if you want more impressions. So let's say I want more impressions because you need more impressions to get more clicks and more clicks to get more jobs. You have to, your title, your keywords, and your description. Those are the things that you can change. Your title is the first that directly affects how many people see you. And then your tags. Make sure always, one of the big mistakes I see is people don't check their tags in another tab. So you have to pull up another tab to check your tags because if you go on Fiverr and put in your tags, you're allowed 5. It shows each 5 of those being active, but if you go and look at them and they're not showing in a separate screen, you have to pull up a live separate screen, you're not showing, you're losing out on a lot of traffic. So it's very, very important that you check out a live screen to see if all your tags are active. And then if they're not, you've got to go back in and change them until you get some active ones. Fiverr kind of looks at it being redundant. Okay. And then your description, always make sure you have at least 3 of your keywords, your main keywords and stuff that you're targeting in your description. All right. Where am I, Angela? Talk to me about what's going on with the chat and everything.
I think that's all great points. I think converting clicks to orders. I think once you get to that, let's just assume that you have a bunch of impressions and you're getting a bunch of clicks.
Yes.
What is keeping someone from placing an order? I think personally, that is probably either your pricing or your demo, which is keeping them from placing the order.
Good call. So let's go. Yeah, let's go down that rabbit hole. So first off, so if you're getting a lot of impressions and not a lot of clicks, all right, then we know first thing, right, is someone has to click on you. So remember, they've got to search in, they got to type in a search, you've got to come up. So if you're getting a lot of impressions, not clicks, that's typically something to do with your thumbnail. Could be something to do with your pricing up front, because remember, there's a little snapshot that's your thumbnail, your pricing, and your gig title. That's what they see. Okay. If you get them to convert that into a click, all right, so now they've clicked on you, they've gone into your job. Fiverr's done a lot of work on trying to make it seem streamlined. There used to be more. There used to be 4, not 3 metrics. Okay. And they changed it to 3. It used to be 4 because there was an impression, then there was a click, then there was a view, and then there was a job, right? And the view and the click were different. Here, Fiverr has been somewhat ambiguous about, is a click when they click on you but don't go into your, because remember, they can click the play button and not go into your thing, but or not. So yes, so if they click, now if you're getting clicks and not jobs, then most likely they've listened to your demo and it's not going, they didn't like it, or they've gone into your gig and there's something that is not matching up with what they thought that you were doing, right? So meaning like there is a pricing difference, something is, like the first 100 words are $5 and then the next 100 words are, $50. And now it's like, whoa, that's not what they thought. But usually it's your demo and your pricing. Okay. So that's a big, that's absolutely. So if you're having trouble getting it, that's what it is.
I would even see first and foremost, probably your demo, because a lot of people don't even mess with the calculator. I don't even know how it works. The Fiverr word count calculator, they're listening to your demo and they go, and they just shoot you a message. Hey, I have a script of this many words. How much is it going to cost me? So I think more importantly, The demo, I would think, but
So
pricing.
so the biggest change, everybody, please hear this. The biggest change I ever did that changed my whole entire life was, again, that summer I found my money voice, and the first spot on my demo, I went into my booth and I did a 30-second improv using this money voice. And it was, I think I did a little
Was it
performance of it.
Ford commercial?
Yeah, in the Ford commercial.
Yep.
And I put it the first spot. It's still the first spot in all my demos because it is the number one. It continues to be, to this day, after all these years, the number one spot that is requested. People will say, like, when I get messaged, they say, I really liked that spot on your demo. We want it to sound just like that. This is what we love. This is what our client loves. We want that is the number one request that I get, and that changed everything. So yes, your demo has to capture. And if you're not getting people messaging you saying, I really like that's the spot, we want you to do it like this on your demo, right? There's a room for work, there's room for improvement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you asking about, or actually, with all the Fiverr gigs that I've reviewed, because I review Fiverr
Ooh,
gigs for
I've
people.
reviewed so many. Yeah.
And the first thing that, or one of the first things that I check is the demo, the way that it sounds. And, there could be a ton of just dead air at the beginning of the demo, or they have, usually the best part of their demo is at the end or somewhere in the middle.
Yes,
And I
yes,
would
yes, yes,
say, for all of you
yes.
watching, if you are considering putting a demo as the first audio slot on Fiverr, have
Mhm.
somebody like peer review it. And if, somebody in your group, and most of you I think are either in our academy or or know
I
me
think,
well enough, but have somebody peer review it and give you their feedback on
yeah,
the demo.
I think this is what we're gonna do. I know, on a side note, I think I just made a decision. So VO Journey Academy, Launchpad, all of us, we're gonna, some of the new year, totally for free, all of us. We're gonna have a day where you'll be able to come and post your gig, and we'll leave notes. I'll leave notes. Angela can leave notes if she wants to, but we'll leave notes because I think it's absolutely true. I know you have, I've reviewed so many gigs over the years, and now that I cast, for our online website, Academy Voices, and we cast, and we've almost had 500 audiobooks published. There's first and foremost general things that you got to do. Okay, first off, your demo should start within, just like, I mean, think of ACX standards. You should just start within 0.5 to 1 second. It should start. Okay, there shouldn't be dead air. There's no reason for dead air. You got to go right into it. Okay. Second, too, there's still a lot of, and that's okay because we're growing as voice actors, but there's a lot of challenges with audio. Right. If a huge turnoff is when I hear it and there's, you can tell there's a lot of room bounce, there's
Hmm.
reverb, it's overly compressed, you're muffled. The audio is just, that's a right off the bat, that puts the dampers the mood, right? Or makes people just be like, I can't work with them because I need someone whose audio is ready to go, right? So audio is a big one. And then when we actually go into your demo, here's the thing. I used to think early on that all you needed was, a good sound and decent background music and, a decent delivery. Okay. That's not bad. But as time's gone on, I realized there's so much more to capturing attention. We live in a time where all of us have to capture attention.
Hmm.
Even the people who are listening to our demo, we have to capture attention, which means we have to tell a good story, which means we have to make them interested in us. We have to make them want to listen more. And to do that, we have to be able to put something out that is going to wow them. It's going to be like, wow, that is really cool. Or, man, I can see it. I can see the vision. We have to do that to them. And I think early on, I don't know what you think, Angela, but I think early on, so many of us are just holding on by the hair of our chinny chin chin, trying to just put the stuff out there that we're not even thinking about, what am I actually saying with the words? Am I
Mm-hmm.
being philosophical in my, like, am I doing pieces that are just straight ads, or am I selling a dream? And I found that that's another part of demos that we don't talk about. How many parts of your demo sells a dream as opposed to just selling like Dawn soap? And you can sell a dream with Dawn, but there's a philosophy, there's like the philosophical piece, like my Ford spot. I'm talking Ford, but I say Ford only once.
Mm-hmm.
I don't talk about it. The whole thing is about a dream, a vision of living a life and a dream and a lifestyle that's comforting and lovely. Like everyone wants to live it. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of the ad, and I sell it really well. Okay, and then it's Ford.
Right.
Right? I mean, like, you're right. What
Right,
do you think,
right,
Angela?
right. So, point being, your demos don't sound like you're just reading the words or just, getting a script done. You want to make sure that the intention, the emotion, everything that you're needing to include in that demo is there, and make sure that it starts right away. Because casting directors, clients, they're only going to listen for the first few seconds and decide right then if you're it or not. But the
Yeah.
poll is actually shifting to
Oh.
getting seen in search
Mm.
for Fiverr. So, as Anthony said before, your title and your tags are going to help the algorithm find you when a client is searching for that particular thing. But keep in mind that that search is going to be based on what people are searching for right now. So, that's going to be highly dependent upon trends, which is why we're always saying as voice actors to stay on top of what is trending so you can change your customize, shift your titles and tags to, be what people are searching for right now. So if you have a gig that's been sitting there and no one's come to it in years and you haven't done anything with it in years, that could be why you're not being seen. So I would say reset your algorithm before you do that. Go in as a buyer and start typing in some voiceover words or products that we can voice over. Type in UGC is huge right now. Go in there and type in UGC voiceover, TikTok, Instagram, all of those things, and see what the words come up in the search. Because you know how Fiverr search it's sort of like Google. It'll pre-fill what people are looking for and use some of that verbiage in your title and or tags to help you be seen. All great stuff.
Yeah, I like the thousander idea. I'd be down for that, Caesar. Yeah, yes, I was gonna perfect job, Angela. Did you know if you go into Fiverr, you can even click an incognito window, go into the top,
Yeah.
type in voiceover. Fiverr will actually, just kind of like Google, you see,
Mm-hmm.
it will produce the top searches
Yeah.
with those terms. And
Yeah.
that's how I try to set up a lot of my gigs based on those terms. I see a lot of voice actors just typing in any random old thing for their titles.
Yeah.
And that's not going to help you get seen.
And you have to think about it in this moment when you're searching. You have to think as if you were the client, because our clients aren't going to be using some of the keywords that we use, like IVR, or you have to think like a client. I need a voice for Audible,
Mm.
or you have to think like that. What would our clients be using in these searches, and see what words come up and use those words so they can find you. We have to talk. We have to act as if we are the client.
Absolutely. Yeah, great job. Yeah, I really enjoyed it last night too, Chris. We had a Christmas party last night.
Yeah, we
You were
did.
there, Angela was there. We had a lot of people. It was really fun in VOJ. It was a lot of
Oh,
fun.
that reminds me. For those of
Yeah.
you in the academy, we're actually reviewing Fiverr gigs in Launchpad next month.
Mm.
So if you're in the academy,
Ooh, I might come to that.
yeah,
That'll be
we're going to
good.
review them together and give input on
I love it.
your demos, your thumbnails, titles, tags. We're going to go through them. So if you're in Launchpad, take advantage of that Fiverr gig review.
Love it.
But I know we have a ton of comments on YouTube. We got some good
Hit me with them.
mornings. Hannah was here. She was very thankful we were doing a live today. Of course,
Yes.
we're not slackers.
Not at all.
Hannah said, I know that I need to upload better samples, but I think my thumbnails are quite all right, but there is very little traffic orders. I would say, what is it going to hurt? If you're not seeing any kind of traction on Fiverr at all, just redo your gigs.
Yes.
Do everything that we had just said, do the research and reset those gigs.
Mm-hmm. I would say too, depending on Hannah, how far your gigs have gone, meaning like if you have a gig that you've put up and you've gotten absolutely no business, no reviews, nothing, I'm telling you, you don't even need to necessarily keep that gig. You can start a new one. I'm not a big advocate on deleting a gig that has reviews and stuff
Yeah,
on it
me
already
either.
because you want to keep those.
Hmm.
But I often see people, depending on how long it's been there, it can get weighted down. Fiverr used to be willing to clear the cache on your gig if you bug them enough, because each one of the gig gets weighted down, if you will. I'm not using the probably correct terminology, but this is how I view it in my head. All right, it gets weighted down, and they used to clear the cache for you, so you'd get an extra. You'd get that newbie burst when you put in there. But I think Angela's absolutely right. Refresh, put new stuff up there. Oh, and here's the thing: be active in your gigs. Even if you go in every day, just log in. Fiverr's algorithm, they built that into that. So if you were active in there, they will push it more.
Meaning open up Fiverr and get in there.
Right.
Don't just like set it and forget it. You have to be
Yeah.
available and there, because if you're inactive for so long, why
Right.
would they want to promote you and push you to clients if they spent millions of dollars to get to their site if you're not
Exactly.
ever in there, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
You have to think of it that way. It's the same way with Upwork too, BTW.
Mm.
Caesar had a question because believe it or not, Caesar's not on Fiverr yet. Issue is
What?
pricing. I also remember thinking I should start with a base figure of $20 or some such. Now that I'm worth more, should I charge appropriately or start at the bottom? I think I
Mm.
would hate to say start at the bottom,
Mm.
Caesar, but as a brand new seller, I don't know. What do you think, Anthony? Because
Yeah.
when you're starting out as a brand new seller, you need that social proof. You
Yes.
just do, right? Because clients are going to go, they're going to go, they got two voice artists. One's got 1 to 10 5-star reviews and one has absolutely none. Which one are you going to choose, right?
Well, you
So
got to
that's
think
kind
on
of the
Fiverr,
conundrum,
they've got
right?
40,000 on Fiverr. So you have to think yeah. So I have an interesting take on this. I'll share it with you, and it's just my feelings. So
Okay.
it's not meant to be controversial. But
Uh-oh.
the um we talk a lot about, and it's just how I view it. We talk a lot about what our worth is. So like Caesar, I feel like your worth is incalculable, right? We cannot put a price tag on your worth, in my opinion, right? I could never be
Mm-hmm.
like, you're worth this amount of money, Caesar. That's my feeling. So I always cringe a little bit when I hear people say, my worth. What I feel
Yeah.
like what we really mean is, what is the worth my business currently commands, right? Of the service that I'm offering, right? Because like I would say, like, if we made milk, we produce milk, and we'd be like, my worth of a milk producer is this amount, right? It's the business, right? It's the business and the product. So because of that, at least for me, it allows me to disconnect some of my personal emotions behind it and
Yeah.
make more of a business decision. So I think Angela's absolutely right. On Fiverr, you have to, right, your number one currency is your reviews.
Yeah.
You've got to have reviews, and it's going to be very difficult when you have sellers who've been on there for, at this point, 15 years, who have tens of thousands of reviews, and they're doing $10 to $15. They're offering 10 to, they're still, I've interviewed many of them. They're called super sellers, where they do 3, 4, 500 jobs a month.
Mm-hmm.
And, they still charge 10 to $15.
Red
So,
Aurex is one of them, right?
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. And I'm not saying that's what you should charge down the road, but just know that Fiverr is, and your pricing is movable. It's not written in stone, which means where you start is not where you have to end up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I know part of we want to talk today is about being a pro on Fiverr, and the because that's a different whole pricing model there.
Yeah.
But I would say that your job is to get the ball rolling. So
Yeah.
please, by all means, anyone here, start wherever you want to start on Fiverr, but just
Footsies.
note that I did, I think Angela did. I started at $5
Mm-hmm.
and I worked my way up. And I was able to get jobs because I was brand new at $5 that I probably wouldn't have gotten if I charged more.
But here's the thing though I want everybody to remember is that your base gig is just the base gig. You can
Right.
structure that any which way you want to. Typically it's $100 for $5 is how I think the majority of us started. 100 words for
100
$5.
words. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you want to do 25 words for $5, I mean, you could do whatever the
There's a lot
heck
of
you
people who
want
do that.
to.
There's a lot of
There
people who
is a
do that.
lot of people that do that.
Hmm.
And that
Hmm.
is, I think, if that is the way you're going to get more attention just
Right.
starting out as a brand new seller, that could be something to think about.
Right. Because you got to
Right?
get that click, as we were talking about getting the click. Right.
Right.
Someone's going to look at you and they're going to see you, and it shows how much you charge. And also, don't forget, everybody, there's search filters on Fiverr. And you've got to make sure you hit all of the search filters so you're getting all of that traffic. I know we didn't talk about the search filters, but I often, if I work with people on Fiverr, it's like, are we hitting all the search filters? Because if we're not, we're missing out a ton of traffic. You just won't even come up at all because you don't hit the search filter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good question, Caesar.
Let's see. Tanya says, I put converting clicks as I get plenty of those, and I've had a few high paying jobs, but nothing recent. It's probably just the holidays right now, I would say. It's hit or miss, but keep in mind that Fiverr's always got that ebb and flow going, especially with as many users as there are now on
Sure.
Fiverr. They're constantly shifting people around. So everybody gets their equal shake,
Also,
towards the top of the first few pages. So just keep
also
at it.
too. Oh yeah, absolutely. Also too, if when you've been with Fiverr for a long time, you start to notice things. So Fiverr
Yeah.
spends an insane amount of money on marketing, right? Advertising. And they do that through ads and so forth. And if you're with Fiverr long enough, you can tell that Fiverr does not spend the same amount of money on each category every month. Okay. They don't have that much money. And so what they do is they spread that around. Okay. And you can always tell this because some months you'll be like, this is the great. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I started getting more work. People are coming more. I'm getting work from different parts of the world. And then
Hmm.
there's other months you're like, it's like the Mojave
Crickets.
Desert. I don't
Hmm.
understand what's going on. Fiverr spreads around that money, and you can always tell this is like clockwork
Yeah.
because over years you see they do this and it stinks. I mean, it'd be nice if they did it all the time. Now, will you ever get past that? Yes. If you start getting a base of clients as you do this more and more and you start being further up in the algorithm, you will get work a lot more consistent.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another thing to note, that Fiverr spreads around the money, and sometimes it gets a little barren when they're
Hmm.
not marketing the voiceover. And don't forget, voiceover is not number one on Fiverr. It's not even in the top 10 of their most earned categories. So, that's because but we are number one for the most gigs.
Hmm.
You didn't know that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Jules, and I thought this was a good comment to put up because I got one of these too. That old Upwork scam on
Mm.
Fiverr where someone reaches out to you and says, "Hey, can you create an Upwork?" No, no,
Bless your
I'm
heart. That's been
surprised
going on
people.
so long.
I know. I got one yesterday and I said,
Did
"This
you
is the
really?
oldest scam
I mean,
ever."
that's
I
been going
said,
on for
"No,
years
thank
and
you."
years and years. There must be people still like falling for it, I guess, right?
I
Because
don't
why would you
know.
keep doing it if people weren't falling for it?
Keep in mind that with Fiverr, for those of you that are getting like it, just trust your spidey senses. If they're tingling, if it sounds too good, if they need you to fill out paperwork, if they want you to email them, call them, no, they can upload anything that they need to within Fiverr into the thread. So don't fall for that kind of nonsense.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Let's see. My cup of tea says, "Good morning, Merry
Good
Christmas, Merry
morning.
Christmas to you." I suppose that maybe remedy by searching for work, by searching and getting a job will more come. Unfortunately, you can't really search for work on Fiverr. You can do that on Upwork, but you can't go
Not
looking
anymore.
for work. No, that was a
Not
thing that
anymore.
was years ago, but they stopped
That
doing
helped a
that so
lot.
long
A lot
ago.
of people, we got a lot of people going on Fiverr. I got a lot of, you could do, they called it the buyer request section.
Yeah.
And you could do up to 10 requests a day you could post.
Yeah.
So think of Upwork, but didn't cost any money. And
Mm-hmm.
and it was all contained to what you did. Yeah, that was
Probably because we We spammed everybody. They stopped doing
But
that.
maybe it works. I'm assuming because you got to think it had to be for other places too. I'm assuming there
Yeah.
was some issue. Now this brief thing, which is just
Yeah.
it still is a mess. I think. Yeah.
This one I wanted to touch on this. Jean says all I get are scammers. So well, but you know what? At least you're being seen. I would look at it as a good thing. Try to spin everything with a little bit of positivity. At least you're being seen.
And I would say, Gene, real quick, I would say, Gene, just as a note, I created just internally, like in my mind, a way to figure out if it's a scam or not. There are many times I've gotten incredible jobs that I literally thought was a scam.
Yeah.
All right. And they weren't. So I'm not saying
Yeah.
that they're not all scammers, but sometimes people can seem like a scam and it's not. So you know if it's not a scam if they pay you.
Language barrier. I have found that to be a big one. Keep in mind, Fiverr's a global marketplace. You're going to have some people that are, it may sound kind of fishy, but it could just be the language barrier. So I would say just be professional, give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But if they're asking for things that aren't necessary, like the things that we just mentioned, they need you to fill out paperwork. They want you to go. You don't need to do any of that stuff, but have a little bit of patience. And, I've had long-standing repeat clients that are from, North Korea, Japan, all over the place, but there is a little bit of a language barrier, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, 60% of all my business comes from outside the United States. 40% comes from one country, which is the United States, but 60% comes from outside.
Yep.
So that's pretty crazy.
Pricing issue. Yeah, we're gonna review those Fiverr gigs in Launchpad next month.
I just casted you in an audiobook.
Tanya has the most beautiful voice. Oh my God.
Yes.
Michael said, I've been wondering about Fiverr. Remember this video that said it was shifting towards AI voices? That it is not. It's embracing the AI revolution, as is every platform. Some better than others, but as voice actors, we have to keep in mind that there is going to be a place for AI voices. Right? It's just like we've talked about all the time here on my channel. It's two separate categories. Do you want a quick fast food meal? Or do you want home cooking? Do you want genuine home cooking? That's the differentiation between an AI voice and a real voice actor. So there's going to be a place for AI voices, but it's not shifting towards them. They're segregated, right? You can choose either or on Fiverr. Do you want an AI voice or do you want a real human voice?
Yeah, I think just for the whole AI thing, just note that think of AI, it's just another competitor. Like if Angela, if I'm a voice actor and Angela gets in the business of voiceover, I don't think voiceover is over because Angela got in, right? Because she's a voice actor. Same thing with AI. I mean, now if they were giving everything away for free, and everything, but it would still not be there. But remember, it's another competitor. So we just have to keep that in mind. They're just a competitor. And I can tell you this, the better you get with your money voice, remember, it's artificial. It does not change, which means if they want different deliveries and they want it, they're going to have to remodel all of that stuff. And they're going to have a lot harder time this go around because we're not going to, the community is a lot more wise to the whole thing.
And I also want to add that I still see AI voice used as scratch. Like I'll have a client send me a video and say, hey, I need your voiceover on this video, but here's the video for reference. Never mind the AI voice. It's there as sort of like a timing placeholder. I get hired to replace these voices all the time. So don't.
And there's going to be,
go down that rabbit hole.
There's a point where we understand, like as a consumer, I don't want to hear an AI voice.
I don't know.
Meaning like even if it was really good, I want a real person because I don't want to feel scammed. AI, the whole idea with AI voices is that you're scamming people, trying to trick them that it's a real voice.
Yeah.
Right. And people don't want that. So like, and that's the consumer. So, like, remember, we're in a bubble. There's kind of a bubble right now, but AI's been around now don't forget, this isn't new either. AI's voice has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so yeah. Good question. So
what do you think? Raven wants to know if Fiverr's worth it at this point.
Raven. Hey, Raven. Yes, of course. Absolutely. Every year I come out with I'm due Angela to come out with a new one. But I don't know if you guys follow, but every year I come out with what are the top 3 websites. It's been my best videos ever. for that year. And there still is not, of course, I'm going to put Academy Voices on there because I think it is. But I would say that of all the places, because think about every site, including Academy Voices, Fiverr is still free. Fiverr and ACX are the last free websites. I mean, you can't do Upwork, you can't do any of these sites without paying money. And I think that, you have an opportunity on Fiverr to get work, especially if you're an audiobook narrator. This is an incredible opportunity because they have to pay you. There is no royalty share. And some of the most incredible books have come through Fiverr. Here's what I would say. I've gotten some incredible jobs. I got a whole year's gig with the Minnesota Vikings through Fiverr, and I thought it was a scam. The guy got his account deleted and he came back. And so there's a ton of opportunity there. And last Raven, I would say, we want you think of your marketing as fishing. The more lines you have in the water, the more opportunities you have to catch fish. So any place where you can put a line in the water, go for it. But if you are concerned, make it on your terms. You don't have to charge whatever, I recommended. Charge whatever you want. But I can tell you, you get really, Angela will tell you, you get really good audiobook deals on Fiverr. Like that's one thing that is never been a cheap kind of plays. You get great prices on Fiverr. We've got so many of our students who are getting $300 or more on Fiverr per finished hour.
Yep. I'd say 80% of my audiobook work right now comes from Fiverr at industry standard rate.
Oh.
I did. There was
to be on there. I just think it's worth it as a marketing channel, Raven. That's why. But you don't have to make it your. What I do recommend is do not make any one channel, including Fiverr, your number one spot.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this: it has become increasingly more difficult for. Used to be if you got good on Fiverr, I was making $10,000-$15,000 a month on Fiverr. At some point that has gotten more difficult because there's too many mouths to feed. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, making $2,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month on Fiverr is not a bad thing.
No, if it's just an additional stream of income, I mean,
Exactly.
why is it a bad thing?
Exactly.
We had a couple of questions on Instagram. Is there a price for membership? No, there's not. There's not a price for membership on Fiverr. They take 20%. They charge the buyer 20% and they take 20% from the seller, but there is no membership fee. And then also Anita says on Instagram, is ACX the only platform to be free to look for VO jobs and demos? Well, ACX is just for audiobooks only. But Fiverr and ACX are both free.
The one thing I will say about Fiverr that, again, what helped me the most was that one thing that Fiverr does that no one else does, actually, and I did this for Academy Voices, which is why I did it, is that on Fiverr, you can listen to what people submit. Right? There's a little section if you go into their gig and you look in and underneath their video. It'll show you what jobs they submitted, and you can actually hear their deliveries if they've clicked that on. Most people have, right? You can't hear that anywhere else. You can in Academy Voices. I actually let you listen to all the auditions in Academy Voices for the purpose for us to grow and become better, because I think it's so important to listen to other people. So that's a very unique thing. If nothing else, you can do a lot of good research on Fiverr. Yeah.
Rebecca asked a question that she sort of, what she was talking about last night in the Christmas party, that she and Caesar are becoming a duo. I see husband and wife teams.
Yes, Crimson, what was it? Crimson Quill.
Crimson Quill.
Yes.
I see husband and wife teams on Fiverr all the time. The problem with that, though, for you guys is that only one of you can have that gig. So one of you would have to manage everything from that one gig. So that would be the only caveat.
Yeah, but if you're willing to do that, I mean, I have seen them on there as well. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Phil says, been a tough year regarding Fiverr. Very little action. 2024 started with a bang. Moves slow considerably. It is a little bit of a commitment. There's a lot of babysitting and a lot of nurturing for Fiverr, in my experience.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just like any site. You've got to put you got to get on there, you got to change stuff around, and think of it as you're trying to find the sweet spot. So like I did a lot of work trying to find my money voice, and then trying to find how to get people to find my money voice, listen to my money voice. Then I had to work through the whole process of selling. I know you said there was something on there that people weren't filling out, though, is about how do I turn, my $5 or $10 gig into like $50 or $75. That was a big thing that I learned quickly to upsell, and that helped a lot, right? It was to upsell commercial rights. How do you upsell that? How do you upsell more words? All those things. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
got to get on there and mess with it.
there's a lot of things that you can upsell, a lot of things that are necessary for even voice actors, like commercial rights, full broadcast rights. So there is a way to turn your $5 base gig into a $100 order. And of course, I've got videos on my channel that detail that, and so does Anthony, and we can touch a little bit on that in Launchpad. And for those of you that are not in Launchpad or in our academy yet,
Yes.
there is a link down below if you're on YouTube. Please join. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. I think more than ever, a community is so important, and a group of
Oh,
people who
God,
will
yeah.
help you. Like what we're doing right now, we in our community, we are here for you to answer these questions, but to help you and go further on with them, to be there for you, including the live classes and what we do.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and you have access to Academy Voices.
Yep.
There's no reason. So I think this is an important moment to say, if there are 20 websites that you could be on marketing your voiceover business, you should be on 20 websites. There's no reason why you shouldn't have yourself everywhere, right? Because those are
Yeah.
you should have yourself all over the place. The other free website is Voquent. Voquent is another free place. Have they done as well recently? No. But like when it comes to I'm getting work, but Voquent is another free. I know Miles is over there. They're a Scottish business. They're in Scotland. Anyway, sorry. Voqunt. It's a free website to be on. Yeah.
But our academy, there's nothing else like it out there for all you aspiring voice actors, audiobook narrators.
It
There's
really
nothing
isn't.
else like our academy, for even for the price point. And I'm done with my plug.
Well, no, it's interesting when we say it, because like, and I put this together, and you always wonder, there is other places out there clearly, and there's a lot of training that's available,
Oh, yeah.
and it's always like, well, what separates you? What are we different? And I can tell you right off the bat, this is one of the first things that is completely different. You will be hard pressed to go anywhere who will be willing to talk to you about Fiverr, who will
Yeah.
be willing to help you with, and let alone be on Fiverr and willing to help you with your Fiverr,
It's
and who's
taboo.
working on Fiverr. Like, we're not that kind of, we are rebels. I was like, we're rebels, and I love being that, and I love people who are, willing to push, the status quo. So,
Yep.
yep.
Yeah, we touch on everything. We cover every aspect of your career.
Absolutely.
Tanya says, I've changed my purpose and tone to settings today to more closely match what people have been drawn to. Yeah, exactly. Your clients will tell you what your money voice is. What you're hired for most often is typically your money voice. So
That's
I
it.
think
That
that's
should be
great.
your, yes, exactly. Yep.
Emily says, first you get the presence, then you get the clicks, then you get the jobs. Got it.
And that's, so and this is a good point. Remember, someone has to first type in a search, and you got to come up. Second, when you come up, they've got to see you and be enticed enough to click on you. And then once they click on you, then they're going to listen to you. So think about all those things that you've got to focus on too before it's just them even listening to you. So
Yeah.
it's not just that. Absolutely.
Looking at ways to branch out, Lauren says this coming year, I think that it's at the very least start your profile, because as we've mentioned before, you can see on their profile like they're a member since, September 2025 or whatever it is. And that is one thing that helps me determine whether or not I want to work with a client. Because if they just joined this month and my spidey senses are tingling, I might skip it. So at least start that clock, that joined since
Do
clock.
you remember? So maybe no one here remembers, or maybe they weren't in voiceover yet. But I used to do this show. I think I did a couple hundred of them. Every Friday, I would do a show called Fiverr Friday.
Oh yeah, I
And I
remember them.
started, and I had a hat, and it was on backwards, and I had a piece of tape, and it said
That's right, you
Fiverr.
did.
And I used to do every Friday. I used
I
to do
remember
Fiverr
that.
Friday, and that's all we would talk about at Fiverr.
Fiverr
And
Friday.
and I never was. We're not affiliates. I mean,
No,
I don't even know. I think they have an affiliate program actually, but I don't
they
even.
do.
Yeah, but we're not. I mean, we don't get money for
No,
recommending Fiverr. Never gotten money for recommending them.
no.
And but it is what it is. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you'd be hard pressed to find a place that still has that many opportunities, which is why they're typically always been number one on my top 3 lists for the year, because it's just hard to beat. I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
actually make money. I mean, ACX is a place I always recommend to start, because it is the place to be for audiobooks other than Academy Voices. But Fiverr is everything else. Like Fiverr is audiobooks plus commercial plus everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
and it
Anthony.
gets you used to working with people. Like it gets you you got
Yep.
customers, it gets you used to deals, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
And Anthony and I have been on Fiverr for a long enough time where we kind of have a good pulse on what's happening over at Fiverr. And Anthony's a Fiverr pro,
Yes. Yes.
and I'm a top rated seller. Have been a top rated seller for years, and I'm also a Fiverr trainer. Fiverr has actually tapped me to train people in voiceover through Fiverr. So we both know what we're talking about when it comes to Fiverr. So for those of you in Launchpad, make sure you're there. Fiverr
Yeah.
says they need a bougie website for customers that call it Thousander.
Right. And remember too, so we have I know that's Caesar, I thought that was funny. So I think that I started off and just a regular seller, and I was a top rated seller for many, 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 many years. And I had vowed that I never was going to become a pro, because in our everything, although I believe they've changed that now, but it used to be when you were a pro that you had to start at $100,
Yeah.
and it went up, right? You couldn't
Yeah.
charge below $100. And I had found that the absolute sweet spot for charging on Fiverr is between $10 to $20. That is this. If you want to be a super seller one day on Fiverr, that's where you charge, and you'll have. I mean, that's the best place to charge
For your base gig.
right? And where you're starting out. I mean,
Yeah.
and so, but I wanted to, as time went on, to go pro, mainly because I wanted to be able to see what it was like, because I hadn't been pro. So, I know people in Fiverr. So I messaged them and I was like, hey, I want to do that. They're like, all right, yeah, cool. So I became a pro, and I got, I hit my top rated seller status, because usually they don't have people who are where we are who decide to go pro. Because I will admit, if you are selling, don't go pro, stay where you are, because you will make more money. Because remember, Fiverr is here's the thing. Uh, don't ever try to buy a McDonald's and turn it into an upscale steak place.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lesson. It's an important lesson. And I've made this mistake with actual restaurant or businesses in my life. It is what it is. Fiverr is what it is. It's not. So what I mean by that is use it for what it is. Okay. And I think if you try to make it more, you're going to be disappointed. All right. Meaning, like, if you're going to try to charge, you start charging $300, $400, $500 for your base numbers, just no one's going to get it there from you. Just because that's not Fiverr. Now, I charge that much. That's true, but that's because I'm at a different place. So, yeah. So, anyways, that's my spiel about that. That's my spiel about that.
Colleen, we're doing Fiverr reviews on the 15th of January in Launchpad. So make sure you have your Fiverr gig ready for that.
I love that
Let's
picture,
see.
Colleen. I feel like
Anita asked in Instagram, how many kinds of demos should we upload in Fiverr? There are 3 spots for audio. Fill them all. And that's another thing. Fill out every blank spot you can in each of your Fiverr gigs, because it tells the algorithm you're a little bit more committed to filling everything out. because again, Fiverr doesn't want to show their clients that they've spent millions of dollars to get there. Some very sparsely filled out gigs. So make sure that you fill out everything. So fill in all those 3 spots.
It's so funny, Angela. I think I've been teaching people about Fiverr now for it's coming
Long
up to 8
time.
years.
A long time.
8 years, and it's wild. Yeah, yeah.
Dylan, Big Pimpin'. That used to be his name, Big Pimpin'. I never got much out of Fiverr, but it makes sense because I didn't put a lot into it. I always seemed to audition well on other sites, but I'm not great at just putting myself out there and getting work. With your character work, Dylan, I think you would clean up with a character gig. If you're not seeing any kind of traction, what is it going to hurt to make some changes to your gig? Do a little algorithm reset.
I think all it is, it gives you an opportunity too to see, are you hooking people? Because you're going to get, even if you get a little bit of impressions, are you hooking those impressions? And if anything too, it can help you strengthen your branding, your ability to get people to stop and listen to you. Right. I mean, that's a good way to look at it as well.
Colleen, if you're just using samples of your audiobooks that you've done as your demos, just use the retail sample. That's what I do, because that's what Audible is going to be using to advertise or to give you kind of a peek inside of the book anyway. I just use the retail samples. Let's see, Dylan said, my last 2 jobs came from clients that had used AI, but people hated it, so they hired me to replace the AI voice. See, same. AI is a competitor, but not particularly well-liked competitor.
Well, right. I mean, I hate to admit it, but I've also gotten hired from, clients who used voiceover actors they didn't like either, I mean, you're absolutely right, Dylan. You're absolutely right. And you're going to see a lot more of that. And you're going to see a lot more of AI businesses going out of business because the bubble burst, they spent a lot of money, but it takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What are the best tips for thumbnails that would make people click? That's a good question. What I would do, or what I do, is I go into Fiverr as a buyer and I see who's on page 1, 2, and 3 and what their thumbnails look like. I would say be sure that ideally that your face is in it, because it's a psychological sales thing. You want to see the eyes of the person that you're giving your money to. You could have it or not, but I would suggest having it in there. And then also, I would say less is more. Clean, easy to read, something eye-catching, right? If you have a brand with like a palette, you have a brand palette of colors, use those. If not, but keep in mind that every gig, the primary thumbnail needs to be different for each one of your gigs. They have to be different. They can't be the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I was saying your thumbnail is one of the most important things you have on Fiverr, and again, I always just say nothing happens unless they're willing to click on you. Yeah. So you've got to make sure your thumbnail is up to speed. Keep it, just like you said, keep it nice and clean. I always make sure, because I always say the people who listen to our voiceovers will never know us, will never know our name, will never see our face. But the people who buy from us, they have to imagine that we are the people sharing their message with the world or wherever they are. So they're going to imagine our face. They're going to imagine us. So we have to show them. That's why you don't see a ton of, caricatures or non-real pictures on there, because they want to see who it is they're hiring to do their voiceover for them. It's such a funny. I mean, it's such an ironic kind of thing. But
it's a psychology thing. I mean, I do the same thing when I'm shopping for someone to hire on Fiverr. I want to see their face.
Right.
But the thing now is that you have like a random face generator. So you know that's kind of weird. So.
Well, that's I mean, well, yeah. Then the question is it real?
Yeah.
Person? But yeah.
Eric says he absolutely loves Academy Voice's audition process. Great descriptions on what you're looking for, reasonable script length. Hearing others' auditions is fantastic.
Yay! Thank you. And Eric just got cast in an audiobook as well. He did a great job. Yeah, Academy Voices. I don't know. I'm sure I know you talk about it, but Academy Voices is another website that we have, that we own, that we run. It's run by voice actors, and it's for voice actors. And primarily we're doing audiobooks. We're moving into audio dramas, and as well as short form and stuff like that. But it's a wonderful place to get work. There's new jobs every day.
Oh my God, we've been on for almost an hour already. Well, Launchpad is
Time
every
flies.
Thursday at 8 p.m. EST after the holidays. We have a little bit of a holiday break, but Launchpad is every Thursday, 8 p.m. EST.
I have to say something just so you know,
Go
like,
for it.
and I said to everybody, I'm so proud of Angela because when I first met Angela, Angela was not, she's very introverted and
Still am.
she you've done a very
Still am.
wonderful job. But no, seriously, you really have done a wonderful job of become quite an incredible teacher and
Hmm.
a good voice actor. She used to work in a car dealership and
Mm-hmm.
she always used to attend my live classes, and I always used to say, "Hi, Angela." And
Yep,
so, yeah, you remember that? That was
I
fun.
do. And I would laugh in my office, and people would walk by going, okay, she's fully lost her mind now.
I love it.
There was a question. Oh, yes, I do have tons. Anthony does too. We both have on our respective channels. We have tons of videos about Fiverr. So check those out. Joy says this is a great community with a galaxy load of information, classes, great coaches, all under one umbrella, which is awesome. And a lot less stressful than getting everything a la carte. Joy, you are now our official
I'm telling you what, I
spokesperson.
was like, Joy's like, send the check. And I
Nailed
was
it.
like, that's right. Good job, Joy.
Archer on Ashes says, for Fiverr, should we make our own demos to upload so the quality is accurate? Oh, absolutely. I would think so. I mean, I tell people you're
Yeah.
better off in the beginning with the DIY demo because, we're not quite
So
perfect.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say too, just as a note on this topic, because this is an intro, this has been a topic, and it started a while ago when I used to tell people this is what I used to say, is that you want to do something from your studio, so that
Yeah.
people aren't fooled is not necessarily the right word, but people, get what they believe they're getting. However, I will say that remember, most demos now are done by you recording it in your studio. You just send it to an engineer, you know what I mean? Like they'll
Yeah.
engineer it. So I don't want you to think that you can't do a professional demo from your studio, okay? Because you're still recording it from your studio. But
100%.
definitely I started with well, actually all my even though we do professional demos now for people in Academy or VOJ, I've
Hmm.
always done my own demo. I've never bought a demo from someone else. I just have always done my own, even to this
Yep.
day.
Same. I've never paid for a
Mhm.
professional demo. I've always made my own because it's an
Right.
accurate representation of what I can provide the client right now.
But please don't think that we're saying you shouldn't do
Right.
professional. My thing is that you should, I think, do at least one or two because you get a chance to work with another coach, a director,
Oh, yeah.
somebody. But I always say too, I needed like 20, 30, 40, 50 demos. There's no way I'm gonna pay for that many demos. I need to learn how to do them myself, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Good evening from Germany. Varus Gaming says, I am Christian and started as a new voice actor here in Germany. Would it make sense for me to join Academy Voices or Launchpad? Yes, both.
Of course.
We
Well,
have
if
we
you
have
join
students from
Launchpad,
all
yeah.
over the world.
Oh yeah, if you join Launchpad or Core or VOJ, you get free access. We should have said that. You get free access to Academy Voices. So
And not only
absolutely.
that, but all of our what another thing that sets our academy apart from other coaching services is not only you don't get one coach, you have what do we
Right.
have 6?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yep.
have 6 coaches and every class, all the launch pads, everything is recorded. So if you can't make it, you miss one, you can always go back and watch it. There's a whole library of stuff to watch.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
So yes, all are welcome, all experience levels.
Hmm.
Dylan says, Angela is who I have to thank for everything I've accomplished in VO. Oh, 2 years ago, I was watching these lives in a broom closet. A soul crushing job. Now
Pulling
I
the
watch in
Harry
my home
Potter, huh?
studio while
Yeah.
recording. Oh,
That's so
Dylan. Well,
awesome.
eh, because you're talented. That's why you are where you are where you are.
It is
Oh,
really
thank
cool
you.
to see. Yeah, it's really cool to see as time goes on. You know what I mean? All the incredible people that grow and become amazing voice
I
actors, and
know.
it's so neat. And then you start to feel old. Uh,
You
then
know,
you,
oh my God, with the Christmas party last night
oh
when
yeah,
all my platinum people came in,
Oh
and
yeah.
now Launchpad, and I was getting emotional. I was like, oh, I started watching Angela a couple years ago, and now I'm here, and it's so humbling. And what I should have done is I should have raised my hand and said, you know what, all of this was possible because of you, Anthony. You were the
Aw.
one that kicked my introverted butt into gear and said, "Get on YouTube." And I was like, "I don't want to. I don't know." And you said you need to get on YouTube. So
Oh.
all of this was possible because of you.
Oh, well, I am just so happy to be doing this with you. I mean, I think that
Yeah.
this is kind of a dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
And when we started way back when, I never thought we'd be here
I
today
didn't
with
either.
everything. So no matter what you all are going through at this moment, just know the one thing that equalizes everything is time.
Yeah.
Time and consistency. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not true. I always thought all the people who told me I can't do it. We're talking about Fiverr today. It's still taboo, but I have to tell you, I early on, the people who did Fiverr early on were really targeted by a lot of other people who were not happy with Fiverr, and it was hard. It
Yeah.
was hard, and it's like whatever, because it's changing lives and it's helping people, and so much of what we're done today is because of that. I
Yeah.
think, and so stick with it, and join us, because one thing I will say is that together, I mean, we being with you, Angela, and doing this stuff, and the rest of our coaches and all our community, it's what makes all this like worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's amazing. We have such an awesome family. We
We
really do.
do.
I think we do. I think we do. Thank
We
you.
do. We do. It was amazing.
It
And there's
really
always
is.
room for more.
Yes.
The
Yes.
more we grow, the more we can offer,
Oh yeah.
and the more that we can, do for our community. So,
And it's so cool. I mean, we had a webinar the other day. We had over a couple hundred people. I mean,
yeah.
I think we're really growing and meeting new people. And I know Angela, like I always joke with Angela, but Angela's been kicking my butt too now to be on to get because I
Social
did to
media.
TikTok, right? Well, it's TikTok.
TikTok.
I
Yeah,
mean,
TikTok.
I've done so many stuff. So
Oh my goodness.
what is that?
That is a little gift from Caesar, but really quickly, Launchpad, to answer this
Ooh.
question, Ron, click the link if you're on YouTube, click the link in the description below, and you will see the enroll link. And Launchpad is included with every membership of the Academy. So at the very least, with however you join, you'll get to see us and hang out in
We
Launchpad.
would love to have you, Ron.
Caesar, thank
Absolutely.
you for the super chat. You are a darling. When I
That
watched Angela's videos, I was covered in paint, smelled like varnish. Now I'm covered in microphones and smell like exhaustion.
uh, you
Oh,
know, you know,
thank you,
that's so awesome.
Caesar. Merry
That's so
Christmas to you
awesome.
both, ML's voice
Oh,
says. I
thank you so
sometimes
much.
watch each of you separately. Thanks. I'm glad that we could combine to
Yes,
bring you all of this information all at one time.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you can too, like, so if you're, and you can also join Academy Voices separately as well.
Yes.
That's a great place, and you can go there. Just it's academyvoices.com, and you can sign up right on the website. And there's a really cool community there too. I mean, we're all part of there, but there's also people who aren't currently in VOJ or Launchpad that are also on Academy, that are just in Academy Voices. So you
Yes.
can be there.
You don't have to be an Academy member
Right.
to join Academy Voices. And Academy
Right.
Voices again is we're our aim for Academy Voices. It's our audiobook production company. We're aiming to make it better than ACX.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. So
That's
right
the goal.
now it's pretty similar to, but it's an alternative to. So you don't. But
Right.
the best part about it, no scams,
Well, right.
because it's developed and created and run by voice actors.
Right. So everything that goes there goes through us. It's not,
Yes.
someone we don't know or something we don't know.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. It's you're looking at the guy right now. That's Academy Voices right there.
Hmm.
So you don't have to worry about being scammed or being taken advantage of. So if you're a narrator looking for an ACX alternative or it's not available in your country, come to Academy Voices or join our academy and get the membership for free. So
Yeah.
yep.
Good deal.
Where do I find lunch? Join the Academy, and actually, if you just click the link, I think it'll take you to the landing page that has all the different membership tiers on it. The Launchpad is the base one. But I think that's about it. Anthony, dude, thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Happy holidays to everybody watching.
Happy holidays, you guys. Have a good time. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Take some time off.
I promise you, voiceover will be here when you come back. It's not going away.
Nope.
Nope. This was really cool. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. It's always good to have you on. I'm glad we could talk about this topic.
Absolutely.
Did we miss anything? Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No. I just think, it's, again, just what we said. It's wonderful. And all these people. And I would say the last thing, too, is keep meeting people like this. Keep meeting other voice actors. If it's not our community, join a community that's positive. Make sure you find a positive community. I mean, that's one thing I love about our community, is very positive. But meet people and stay connected, because it can get kind of lonely in this by yourself.
Oh my God. And your family and your spouse, they'll be like, oh, you did so great. I mean, if you want like people, you want support from people who actually really truly understand what you're going through and what all the verbiage means. That's us, because everybody's going to pat you on the, oh, that's great. But we truly understand, right? Oh, yeah. Community, you need community in this industry. And there isn't a more supportive, loving community out there, in my experience, than what we have in voiceover. So
absolutely,
come be part of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yes. And do we have anything else this week? There's no classes this week.
So no, well, tomorrow's Christmas Eve, of course, and then Thursday's Christmas. So no, we don't have anything this week. However, just because we are who we are, I'll be still here. We'll be doing stuff in the Discord and in the chat and talking and adding stuff. And recently too, we put together a big script library and adding more and more. So that's going to be exciting, because that'll be just another resource that we have for people in VOJ. Is just a massive script library. So, I'll be collecting more scripts and putting that up, as well as casting. So so Academy Voices will not stop. I mean, I won't be doing stuff on Christmas Day probably, but they'll be casting new jobs going up and new books being published. So that will continue. But yeah, class wise, we don't have not until the next week. Yeah.
Are you going to be live on Friday? Somebody's asking.
No, not this week. We're taking, I'm giving Gabby a break. I don't give Gabby a break.
Poor Gabby.
Yeah. But if we're gonna be. I'll be in the Discord. We'll be there. What I might do is I might go. I used to have office hours where I did this thing where and I would go in our Discord and go into the live chat and be there for like an hour or so, and anybody who'd want to come and join and just chat and talk. And I thought that was pretty cool. So I might be because I'm in here working. So. Yeah, I might do something like that. But I like to try to give people almost where we kind of force people to take a break. Got to take a break at some point.
Yep. Well, thank you for everybody on TikTok who joined. I do see some comments, but not a lot of questions, because it was mainly a one-sided conversation on TikTok. They could hear me, but not you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But everybody's saying happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you. So thank you to everyone who has stuck with us today. Happy holidays, and that is it. So, Anthony, I'll see you, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Bye, everybody.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas. Bye. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to She Lancer Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. That's me. For more information about me, visit my website, voiceoverangela.com, or hop on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. Again, thanks for listening. Have a great day.